The Iron Prince and the Golden Princess, a tale of courage and friendship. In a kingdom where the sun glinted off the golden rooftops and the rivers flowed with sparkling silver, lived a young prince named Ari. Ari wasn't like other princes. He wasn't obsessed with gold or jewels. He loved iron. He loved the way it felt in his hands, the way it clanged when he swung his sword, the way it protected him from harm. Ari's father, the king, was a kind man, but he was also a traditionalist. He believed that a prince should be adorned with gold, not iron. He wanted Ari to wear a crown of gold, not a helmet of iron. He wanted Ari to be a golden prince, not an iron prince. One day, a messenger arrived at the castle, bearing news that shook the kingdom to its core. A neighboring kingdom, ruled by the cruel Queen Malice, had declared war. The queen, known for her greed and her love of gold, wanted to conquer their kingdom and claim all its riches. The king, with a heavy heart, called for a meeting of his council. He knew that he had to prepare for war, but he also knew that his son, Ari, was not ready. Ari was still young, and he had never seen battle. But the king had no choice. He had to send his son to fight. The king presented Ari with a golden sword, its hilt adorned with sparkling gems. "This is the weapon of a true prince," the king said. "Use it wisely, my son." But Ari looked at the sword with a frown. He didn't want a golden sword. He wanted a sword made of iron, a sword that he could trust to protect him in battle. He took the sword, but he knew he wouldn't use it. He went to his workshop, a place where he spent hours crafting and forging, and began to work on a new sword, a sword made of iron. Days turned into weeks, and the war preparations were in full swing. The king's army was training hard, and the kingdom was buzzing with activity. Ari, however, stayed in his workshop, working on his iron sword. He hammered and forged, shaping the metal into a perfect blade. He polished it until it gleamed, not with gold, but with the cool sheen of iron. When the day of the battle arrived, Ari was ready. He stood before his father, his iron sword gleaming in the sunlight. "Father, I am ready to fight for our kingdom," he said. The king was surprised. He had expected Ari to be afraid, but his son's eyes were filled with determination. He nodded, his heart swelling with pride. The battle was fierce. Queen Malice's army was strong, and they fought with the ferocity of wild beasts. Ari, however, fought with the courage of a lion. He charged into the fray, his iron sword flashing like a silver streak. He fought with skill and strength, his iron armor protecting him from harm. He fought for his kingdom, for his father, and for his own honor. As the battle raged, Ari found himself facing a formidable foe. It was a giant warrior, clad in gleaming gold armor, his sword as sharp as a razor. The warrior was strong and fierce, and he easily pushed Ari back. Ari knew he had to be smart. He couldn't win by brute force alone. He had to use his wits. He noticed that the warrior was clumsy in his movements, his armor weighing him down. Ari feigned a retreat, drawing the warrior away from the main battle. He led him to a narrow path, where the warrior's heavy armor made it difficult for him to move. Ari waited for his chance. When the warrior stumbled, Ari lunged forward, his iron sword flashing in the sunlight. He struck a blow, and the warrior fell, his golden armor clattering to the ground. The battle was turning in their favor. Ari's courage and skill had inspired the king's army. They fought with renewed vigor, pushing back Queen Malice's forces. But Queen Malice was not one to give up easily. She had a secret weapon, a giant dragon, its scales as black as night and its breath as hot as fire. The dragon soared through the air, its roar shaking the earth. The king's army was terrified. They had never seen anything like it. But Ari, though he was afraid, knew he had to act. He saw that the dragon was vulnerable to the iron of his sword. He charged towards the beast, his iron sword raised high. The dragon swooped down, its fiery breath scorching the earth. Ari dodged the flames, his iron armor protecting him from the heat. He jumped onto the dragon's back, his iron sword glinting in the sunlight. The dragon roared in anger, trying to shake Ari off its back. But Ari held on tight, his grip as strong as iron. He swung his sword, striking the dragon's scales. The dragon roared in pain, its scales cracking under the force of Ari's blows. The dragon, weakened by the blows, crashed to the ground, its roar turning into a whimper. Queen Malice's army, seeing their leader's dragon defeated, fled in terror. The battle was over. Queen Malice was defeated, and the kingdom was saved. The king, seeing his son's bravery, embraced him. "You are a true hero, my son," he said. "You have saved our kingdom." Ari, however, was not interested in praise. He was just happy that he had been able to protect his kingdom, his father, and his own honor. The king, realizing that Ari's love for iron was not a weakness, but a strength, finally accepted his son's passion. He allowed Ari to keep his iron sword and to continue working in his workshop. From that day on, Ari was known throughout the kingdom as the Iron Prince, a hero who had saved his kingdom with the strength of iron and the courage of his heart. As for Queen Malice, she was captured and imprisoned. She learned that true strength did not lie in gold, but in courage and kindness. The kingdom celebrated its victory, and Ari, the Iron Prince, became a legend. His story was told for generations to come, a story of courage, friendship, and the strength of iron. And so, the kingdom, once known for its golden rooftops, became known for its brave Iron Prince.